Great job, Calumet students. Excellent. Before we begin our presentation, I would like to share our district mission with you, and it reads as follows. In pursuit of excellence, the mission of Calumet School District 132 is to form a partnership with family, community, and the educational staff to develop academic, social, physical, emotional, and the cultural needs of our students. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Board of Education. Sherry Story, our Board President, Patricia Ann Carr, Vice President, Consuela Brown, Secretary, Kimberly Watkins Allman, Sunithia Harris, Karen Ivey, and Christopher Towers. Can we give them a round of applause? At this time, I'd like to introduce our superintendent to us, Dr. Marcus T. Alexander. If we could give him a round of applause for his leadership in School District 132.
Good evening, and welcome to the 2023 State of the District Address. As stated, my name is Dr. Alexander, and I have the pleasure to serve as your superintendent. I'm really glad to see all of you all tonight, because what it says is that you have a commitment to seeing our district grow. The support that we receive as an administration to do the work of leading education is felt in this community. So to that, I say thank you to all of you. I would like to begin this presentation by introducing you to the staff of the superintendent's office, Ms. Kimberly Marion, who serves as our district secretary, Mr. John Perez, who serves as my executive assistant. These are the real runners of the district. I just work here. We start this presentation tonight going back to our first conversation with our staff back in August. I posed a question to them, and that question was, how do we build a continuous culture for school improvement? And build means, how do we take different processes, different strategies, what works, what doesn't, and how do we figure out what do we need to do to move forward? When we talk about continuous improvement, we look at the diagram and see that it's a never-ending cycle. From parents to teachers to staff and community, we all play a role in how this district operates. School improvement, where we came from, where we strive to be. That's our goal. How do we increase student achievement? How do we increase student attendance? How do we decrease student discipline? That's all about what schools need to improve. This year, our district adopted the 132 guiding principles. This set of guiding principles is an outline to how we function. It's the lifeblood of this district. It means nothing if we all don't ascribe to it. Our first principle: high standards, rigorous curriculum, and powerful instruction. If we're going to be successful at educating our students, we must go beyond the basics to ensure that all children become critical thinkers, effective communicators, and responsible global citizens. The definition of core instruction must be expanded past reading, math, science, and social studies, but it must also include evidence of art, health, physical education, science, technology, engineering, and other extracurricular activities. Guiding principle number 2, systems of support that meet the needs of students. We have high expectations for all of our students, and we couple that with a holistic approach that supports the individual needs of all of our students. We must remove barriers to learning with practices that promote children's health and safety, social and emotional development, school attendance, and college and career preparation. We recognize that school is more than just a place where students learn to read and how to count. School is a place where students learn how to be civil, how to live and commune with those around them. School is a place to learn how to implement great morals throughout your life. Guiding principle number 3, engaged and empowered families and communities. It is our responsibility as educators to empower our parents as leaders who can advocate for their children and for all of the community's children. School and district leaders must be resourceful in identifying community partners who can support children's growth and learning. The holistic model says we're all in this together. It takes a village to raise a child. Guiding principle number 4, committed and effective teachers, leaders, and staff. Priorities that lead to student success must drive planning, spending, and accountability at the school and district level. Everyone who works for the district needs to be held accountable for student outcomes and also provided with useful data and guidance in working towards those goals. Here at District 132, regardless if your job is facilities, food service, human resources, or teachers, we all play a part in the academic outcomes of students. If we are successful at our roles, then our students have that much more of a chance to be successful at closing the achievement gap. Our 5th and final principle is sound fiscal, operational, and accountability systems. Our teachers, principals, and administrators will be valued and developed. We hold them accountable and will reward them for their success. We must ensure that we are the place where the best talent comes to work. It's our responsibility and my responsibility as superintendent to ensure that we have the best, because that's exactly what our students deserve. Our district model, E3, exemplifying excellence every day. Not something that just sits on paper, but it's something that we teach our students and that we teach them to live every day. Do your best, even when no one's looking. Do your best every single time. Be excellent. A brief glance at our district. As you can see in the chart based on our student enrollment, over the past 5 years, our district's enrollment has been inconsistent. Majority of that time encompasses the COVID-19 pandemic, whereas many students left the district and even some left the state of Illinois. The reality is that we teach who's in front of us. We are committed to making sure that the students in front of us are receiving the best education possible. Recognizing that students come to us with many opportunities and challenges, we have to take advantage of that. We have to see where our students are strong and where they thrive, but we also have to see where our students have challenges and struggles. And that's where we focus our energy. How do we promote positive learning for all students, despite what they come to us with? When we look at our racial demographics, over the past 10 years, our racial demographics of the district has changed. Currently, about 75% of our students are African American, with just under 25% of those students being Latino. 10 years ago, that number was way less. What that says is that we have to change the way that we support our students. We have to change the way that we teach our students, because guess what? over the years, our students have changed. The world around us have changed. And as a result of that, we have to change our practice if we are going to be successful into making them 21st century learners. Now I'm going to give you a review of our school year through picture. We started our school year back in July and August, supporting the Calumet Park Community Festival. It was a great day of fun and enjoyment. I got a chance to meet a lot of the residents, and everybody who I met told me, this school is great. This district is great. We just need a little work done to it. And from there, I really started to understand the work that was ahead of me as superintendent. As I built my team, I was able to share with them the vision. We have a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. We have to focus, be intentional, and be strategic. We brought our staff back and did something a little different. We recognize that during the pandemic and during COVID, everybody went through something. Not just children, but adults too. So to get adults to come back into the school building and focus on what's important, moving the instruction of our students, we had to focus some time on our adults. We had to make sure that our staff were ready mentally, physically, and emotionally. So we spent the day at Iron Oaks team building. And our staff had to rely on their colleagues in order to successfully achieve the mission of completing the task. In many cases, our staff were blindfolded and could not see, but they had to rely on their fellow colleagues to be of support. What does that have to do with teaching and learning? Many times you have to recognize your abilities. And when you recognize your abilities, it also shows you what your inabilities are. As educators, we have to work as a team. I can't do it all. I play my part, and my colleagues have to fill in the rest. So we wanted to build that level of teamwork and camaraderie so that our teachers would have a jump start on how do we collaborate and work together to improve the quality of learning for all of our students. This summer, I started the Superintendent's Listening and Learning Tour. As the new superintendent of District 132, I was very eager to hear what the people wanted to say. I was very eager to hear what people thought about the school. I was very eager to hear the goals that our stakeholders have for the school. Throughout this listening and learning tour, I had the opportunity to meet with just about every student, just about every staff member, a nice amount of parents, members from our community, local government, and even our business leaders. And one of the things that resonated with me throughout those meetings was, we all think this district is great. We all have a great history in the past in this community, but we want to see it taken to the next level. So as I collected that data and feedback, that allowed me to bring it back to my team and say, this is what our plan will be moving forward. These are some things that we need to look at immediately, and these are some things that we can place on the agenda for 3 to 5 years down the road. This listening and learning tour also was the start of our strategic planning process. How do we collect data from our constituents to better understand their goals and directions for the district? Over this past summer, the Board of Education and I met for a weekend retreat to talk just that. How are we collectively going to work together to move this district? As the governing body of this district, the Board of Education sets policy. The Board of Education sets expectations of the superintendent, and the Board of Education holds the superintendent accountable for making sure that plans are being implemented. I am very appreciative of the board that we have. The 7-member board, they're all committed and dedicated to this community. This is a volunteer job for them. So the work that they do and the support that they give, it's invaluable. We opened the first day of school. And I can honestly say out of many years of first days of school, this was the best. It was the best because children were so excited to come to school without a mask, seeing their friends. It was the first time that some of our students had seen their classmates actually smile. The students were so excited to get off the bus. A lot of the students ran away from the parents' car without giving them a hug and a kiss because they were that excited to get to school. As the new superintendent, it was my first opportunity to meet everybody, and I received warm welcomes. I also received a few look up and downs too. But what I was able to understand is that these children deserve the best. And as a superintendent, it's my job to work with the administration, the board, and the community to make sure that all of our students have it. We progressed through the year, and one of our focus was to always keep family engaged and first in our priorities. We had our open house with record-breaking numbers of parents to come out. And they were not coming out to fuss and fight with the teacher, but they were coming out to see the good news of what was going on within their schools. I had conversations with multiple parents, and the parents would say, my kid said this district feels different. Things are happening different. People are nicer. And all I could say was, thank you. It's working. If we're going to have moved this district forward, it starts at the top. Positivity and change starts at the top. So if we're going to do something different, we have to first process it, second, plan it, and then third, we have to execute. And I must say, I am very proud to lead the administration and staff of this district because that's exactly what they do. On a daily basis, we execute excellence. As we progress, one of our main focus was to get our students to school every day. At Calumet in particular, they had incentive day. And during this incentive day, it was almost a free day for students where they could get on bumper cars, they played games, they had snacks and activities. The students were very appreciative of this recognition. And although we had only been in school maybe a month and a half, the students gained a sense of entitlement to say, if I do what's right, if I do what I'm supposed to do, these are the rewards that are entitled to me. Congratulations to our girls basketball team, who went on to be regional finalists. I'm very proud of this team of girls because many of them had not touched a basketball before this season. I'm appreciative of the work of the coach, Mr. Corley, Mr. Ingram, because what they did was instill a sense of ethic and work ethic in our students that made them try a little harder. Did they expect to be regional finalists? Absolutely not. But do they expect to be regional finalists next year? Of course they do. So we rallied behind them. We showed them our appreciation. I told them in the middle of the season, if you win, superintendent takes you to lunch anywhere you want to go. And I was prepared to spend a whole lot of money on little kids who wanted to eat. Well, they wanted Golden Corral. But what it showed was that our students were just happy to be recognized and they were happy to be appreciated. Throughout the year, our Family and Community Engagement Department hosts various events within the schools that follows our goal of empowering parents. On Parents' Day, our parents were able to come into the school building and sit through a lesson within their child's class. During the lessons, our parents were able to really see what their students were learning. In some cases, our parents were able to identify reasons why their students were not learning. But what it also caused was a collaboration and a conversation between the parent and the student on how do we work together collaboratively to improve the quality of education for students. Between the month of September and October, we celebrate in the United States Hispanic Heritage Month. During this month, our students were provided meaningful instruction about many historical figures of Hispanic and Latino descent, and also many current figures who've made a contribution to American history. Our students participated in various activities in their buildings, and then at the end of the month, we had a district-wide celebration that drew out over 300 participants. That was my first experience celebrating Hispanic heritage in this district, and I must say, it was outstanding, and I can't wait till next year. Again, our Family and Community Engagement Department sponsored a Family Vision Board night. And this activity was for parents and students to come together to identify goals that they wanted to accomplish in the year of 2023. This event was outstanding and memorable because for the first time, some parents actually sat down and had a meaningful conversation with their students. For the first time, some parents actually sat down and listened to their students' voice about what they felt, what they needed. You were able to see parents, some moms and dads together, some moms alone, some grandmas. Even a single dad was there to say, I have to figure this out. That goes to show you that our parents are supportive of our students, and they are supportive of the work that we're doing to improve the quality of education. Although we are on the brighter side of the COVID pandemic, it's still here. As a result, the district has made the decision to opt into weekly testing for students and staff that want to do it. And by testing on a weekly basis, we're able to identify and mitigate the risk of the flu, RSV, and COVID. In addition, we opened it up to our parents and to anybody who wanted to come in. I'm very happy that the Village of Calumet Park's mayor, Mr. Ron Denson, decided to come and support. And his support was, I'm just here because I want the students to know that this is important in our community, and this is what's going to keep our schools open and operating. As I stated earlier, one of my tasks this year was to create a strategic plan for the district. A strategic plan is a plan that everybody agrees to because they were part of it. How do we move forward in a systematic and planned out way? Regardless of who's the superintendent, regardless of who the board members are, this is the plan that we want to see for our community. I'm very excited that the work has started and we are in the process of completing. Our district hired the M&M Consulting Firm, which is a group of educators with probably over 100 years of experience combined, who came into our district just a few weeks ago to ask many critical questions. What do you want to see out of District 132? What's going great? What could improve? That information is very important. As we work to become a data-driven district, making decisions based on what really matters and the facts, this is the type of information that we need. Throughout the strategic plan, stakeholder groups of students, staff, district administration, principals, board members, the Chamber of Commerce, our business leaders, our community leaders, they all came into the district to provide their feedback and perspective. That's dedication. There were people who came who don't even have children who go to this district, but they're concerned about the growth and prosperity. So I would like to first thank you all who participated, and then I would like to invite the rest of you all to come back. We have our final session of focus groups on March 7th. That's a Tuesday. We will have a community leaders and Chamber of Commerce luncheon here at the district beginning at 12 o'clock. I'm sorry, that's at the Borough School Library. Teachers and support staff will meet at each building from 2:30 to 4:30. And then in the evening, a parent meeting from 5:30 to 7 o'clock. The data from the focus groups will be consolidated into a strategic plan document that will be presented to the Board of Education for approval at the May board meeting. This is very important work. Your voice is important. Your feelings, your feedback, and your perception is what drives us forward. I am looking forward to completing my first year as superintendent and starting the next. We have a lot of work to do in this district, and I am very confident that with the support of our staff and our community, that we will make it through. Next, we will move to the Division of Academic Services. I would like to introduce our Executive Director of Academic Services, Ms. Adrienne Bates.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out tonight. So, one of the beautiful things about working here is working with an awesome team, and I'm going to ask some of our team members who are present to please stand. Dr. Marla Burnett, our Coordinator of Library and Media Services. Dr. Natasha Harris, Director. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Marla Barnett, as I said, our Coordinator of Library and Media Services. Dr. Natasha Harris, Director of Special Education. Ms. Jennifer Kimball, she's out today, our Coordinator of Student Services. Ms. Adrienne Saverson, our Director of Instructional Support. And Ms. Elizabeth Washington, our Family and Community Engagement Manager. Please give them a round of applause. The work that goes on in this department really we can't do it without a team effort. So I am appreciative to working with an awesome team. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you our building leadership team. Mr. Drown, can you please stand? Mr. Dalen Drown is our principal for both Burr Oak Academy and Burr Oak Elementary. Ms. Sandra Brown, our principal for Calumet Middle School. Ms. Stacy Thorpe Burnett, who's not here at this present, she's our assistant principal for Burr Oak Academy and Burr Oak School. And Teron Ivy, our assistant principal for Calumet Middle School. Please give them a hand. That saying, it takes a village, it really does take a village. So we look at our division goals, and when you look at our division goals, it really is about what we're all about as a community. We work together, we collaborate together. So in this team, each administrator within this team, we meet bi-weekly to stay abreast of all those things that are going on within our district. So the teaching and learning team, that's a unique team of core curriculum teams were developed to closely examine the current resources that we have within the district and to foster instructional support throughout each grade level. Our special education team, that's a team that we're working on to explore ways on how to support our special education population and to make sure that we utilize the most current best practices and strategies to deliver instruction. And our bilingual education, on a weekly basis, I must say, is really exciting. We are able to see our bilingual community growing by leaps and bounds. Therefore, we have been looking at ways on how to effectively help them transition to the culture and climate of our Calumet Park community. And then we have our early education team of experts. We are aggressively examining the instructional needs of our youngest leaders to address the learning loss due to COVID. And then last but definitely not least, our family and community engagement. As an AST team member, that's our academic service team, we work to collaborate to support all of our family and engagement events. We are committed to our community. We're committed to building positive relationships within the community. So we serve with our whole heart. So the data that you see right now happens to be a snapshot of our beginning of the year and middle of the year assessments from the NWEA. And you say to yourself, wow, we have some growing to do. But this particular sheet is called student attainment. And I want to give you a little bit of information about student attainment. Attainment is used to pinpoint what level a child should be achieving at their age. And if you look at the green line, the green line is our goal to reach the 50% grade level for both reading and for math. So as you can see the progression, this is where we need to be for both reading and math. The next slide is really called the Student Growth Comparison, the BOY, the beginning of the year, and the MOY. This particular chart shows that the growth should be at 70%. So as you can see, we do have a lot of work cut out for us, but I believe that we are set and we have been preparing for this season to really make a difference within the lives of the children that we're serving. And there has been some steady growth if you look very carefully at the sixth grade and eighth grade. So they're making the progress, and we just want to make sure that we push our other students to make it across that finish line. We do recognize that our students have some deficits, and we have been trying consistently to focus on the instructional needs of all of our students collectively as well as individually. Additionally, our goal is to continue to provide ongoing professional development to our staff so they can better support our students' learning. Our principals have done an outstanding job of taking the time to do a deep dive with data. We've had many data conversations. We really had time to really dig deep in where we are and what we need to do. And Ms. Kimball has taken the time as well to have really in-depth conversations about what we need to do to help our students to effectively succeed across grade levels. This is a wonderful reflection of the school year in review. We had also an opportunity for the book giveaway at Calumet Park Community Festival. This gave us a chance to connect, but also to have our children get a chance to take home books to build their own home libraries. We were also excited to have our school vision board night and have our own mailboxes, book mailboxes, thanks to our awesome school board. So there's mailboxes outside of each school building, and Dr. Barnett takes the time to replenish them. And I will say, we have a lot of community people that stop by those mailboxes. So thank you, board, for making sure we are able to encourage our community to be readers. And as that old saying, readers are definitely leaders. Our after-school and Saturday school programming. We are targeting the instructional needs that are identified through the assessment data, NWA, and by offering both after-school and Saturday school programs. We provide transportation for both of those programs, but on our Saturday school team lineup, we provide not only breakfast, but grab-and-go lunches. We use the data, and that's what's been driving the planning and instruction. Our wonderful library, we're just incredibly thrilled of this beautiful place that we have in all three of our libraries. Not only did our libraries receive fresh paint, bookshelves, brand new furniture, but they received over 4,100 new books that cover an array of genres and ethnicity. We are proud of our Spanish collection, which has been a hit for many of our English language learners. In addition to the print collection, we have over 5,000 digital titles through our Mayan digital book collection. Our staff development has been ongoing and is really focused on the curricular alignment. This year has been a turning point for our district in learning and training for teachers. Our teachers have been given an opportunity to share their concerns through our surveys that we've conducted, and we got a chance to hear from them directly what they felt they needed. Due to their feedback, we created curriculum groups to carefully examine our instruction needs and how to better support lesson planning. Through the creation of our instructional focus plans, teachers were able to directly link the Illinois Priority Standards to pre-selected stories, which helps support the teachers in lesson planning. Our math and science team members have developed a list of vocabulary words that students should know by grade level, which helps support them with their weekly mapping guide that was developed by the middle school teams. The path ahead. And it's always good to have a vision of what you would desire to see. And I believe that through our visionary leader, all things are very much possible. So as you look at the path ahead, there are 5 departments that are within the academic services team. As you view the vision statement of each department, we are constantly making adjustments to ensure that the immediate needs of our learning community are appropriately addressed. The teaching and learning, we've completed and analyzed the current core curriculum for reading, math, science, and social studies to address the immediate and long-term needs for instruction. We have teachers coming here every Tuesday at 7:30 just to make sure that we are addressing those concerns. We're having deep dive conversations about our curriculum. Our special education team have conducted internal compliance audits to ensure that we are adhering to the plans that are aligned with the student's IEP, which is the individual education plan. Bilingual education, again, a reinforcement. We're trying to provide those language learning skills to students who are not native English speakers. Then, of course, early childhood. We continue to provide intensive hands-on opportunities as a means of preparation for elementary school. And we have this vision that we're working on right now to have full day program, which will start our school year 2023-24 for our youngest of leaders, our 4-year-olds. And again, last but definitely not least, Ms. Washington, family and community engagement. We continue to provide ongoing access to our parent community in order to bridge the gap between home and school. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to you our latest team member, Ms. Lynette Hutchison. She's our interim chief school business officer.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I can say I'm ecstatic to be a part of this awesome team. You guys have welcomed me with open arms. I'm going to introduce to you the people that make it happen on my team. I coordinate all of the departments within operational services, and our first person is Mr. Corley. He's the manager of building and grounds. Would you please stand? Roxanne Williams, she manages and is director of human resources. Mr. Rolette, he manages student safety and transportation. I think he's sick today, but we still want to give him a hand. And Mrs. Mon coordinates informational technology. On a day-to-day basis, operational services supports the overall mission of our district, which is academic excellence. This is at the forefront of everything that operational services does. We meet weekly to make sure that we're maintaining the goals of the district and the goals of our department. For the finance department, our goal is to ensure that the financial resources align with the strategic priorities and our district goals. We want to make sure that we maintain a high level of financial solvency. And we can do that by making sure that we maintain healthy fund balances and that we maintain a high level of fiscal responsibility. For the student safety and transportation department, we want to always make sure that we maintain a good sense of security amongst all of our students and staff, and that everyone feels as though their physical well-being is being maintained, both within the district and in transit. There are a lot of instances occurring in schools locally and nationally, and we want to make sure that we feel both safe within the district and safe to and from the district. For the information technology department, we want to provide students and staff with access to world-class technology and global connectivity. For the human resources department, we want to recruit and retain diverse and highly qualified administrators, teachers, and staff support. We want the best talent to shape our students. For the food service department, we want to ensure that our students are provided with healthy and well-balanced meals, because studies show that kids that eat well test and learn better. To ensure that we have the proper resources in place to support the overall goals of our district, we must have a financial plan in place. And here's a summary, the budget that we have for this year. It was completed with the input from each of our departments and composed of the actual needs and adopted by the Board of Education. Currently, our district is still in the process of completing our fiscal year audit for 2022. And it's predicted that we will have a surplus of $28.5 million. And if we maintain our fiscal responsibility, which I'm sure that we're gonna do, we should have a surplus by the end of this fiscal year at $30.1 million. Here's a deeper dive into our budgeted revenues. And our revenues are made up of both our local, state, and federal funding. Our local funding is primarily made up of property taxes, which make up about 24% of our revenues. Our state funding is made up of both evidence-based funding, which is based on enrollment, and then other state-level grants and reimbursements. And that's at about 47% of our revenues. Our federal funding is made up of both federal grants, and I've split it out with our CARES and ESSER grants. Our federal grants are supplemented or are supplemental to our normal revenues, and it's based on the percentage of our low-income students. And therefore, most of our federal grants, those are entitlement grants, meaning we are entitled to those. Our CARES and ESSER grants, those are what I call a direct reflection, our ESSER grants are because of the pandemic, it's because of the pandemic that we got our CARES and ESSER grants. And that's also based on the percentage of our low-income students. And one of the things that I'll show you is that whatever we spend for our CARES and ESSER grants, we get that back. We'll get that back if we spend it. So in other words, when I go to our expenditures, we're going to spend $3.9 million. But when you go to the revenues, we're going to get that back. So it's a direct reimbursement. For our purchase services, for our expenditures, they make up about 22% of our expenditures for this year. And as I stated, the CARES and ESSERs are reimbursements, and that makes up about 19% of our expenditures. And remember, our expenditures, which we're estimating at about $21 million, are based on the needs of each of our departments within the district. Now, historically, these are our fund balances for the last 7 or 8 years. And what it shows is that this district, meaning the past administrators and past and present board members, have been good stewards. They've had great budgeting and great financial management. Because as you can see, each year, the fund balance grows. And based on our audit, we're predicting that for our 2022, we'll end up with $28.4 million. And because I know we're going to be good stewards this year and follow the budget plan, we should end up with a surplus of $30.1 million. As we move ahead, we got a lot of new and exciting things happening within operational services. For the finance department, we still want to make sure that our financial resources align with the strategic priorities and our district goals. One of the things that we noticed was that our spending habits across the district were not concise. People were ordering from different vendors and maybe not getting the best price. So in order to address that, we're going to come up with, and we're exploring it now, an e-procurement store. And that's going to help us to streamline our purchases across the district, and everyone is going to utilize that. It will help us to save not only time, but money as well. For the Student Safety and Transportation Department, our top priority is safety and the welfare of our students, both inside and outside of the district. As a result, we're going to be piloting a student safety monitoring system that will allow both parents and staff to track the whereabouts of all of our students throughout the day. For the Information Technology Department, over the years, our district has improved the quality of technology for all of our students. And now, because all of our students have a computer to work on, our district must work on updating our infrastructure to accommodate the increased demands for connectivity. For the Human Resources Department, the goal is to make sure that we have highly qualified administrators, teachers, and support staff. And with that in mind, our data also shows that we want to seek more minority staff members. And as a result, we're going to make sure that we increase our recruitment at local universities and HBCUs across the U.S. For the Food Service Department, our goal is to ensure that all of our students are provided with well-balanced meals, because the data shows that kids who eat well test and learn better. And as a result, we will be working on a full-service kitchen where, as a district, we can prepare our own meals to the taste of our children. Now, for the Buildings and Grounds, I'm going to introduce Mr. Cole. And he's going to give you an update.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to be giving a brief overview of the projects that we have going on in the district as pertaining to the Buildings and Grounds Department. First off, I would like for everyone to understand that the Buildings and Grounds Department, we do more than just fix stuff. We promote student learning. Research says, and it proves, that if you have a healthy, clean, safe, comfortable environment, staff teach better and students learn better. So we play a very vital part in the day-to-day operation, not only operations, but learning as well. So going on, just remember that the Facilities Department, we are very much a part of student learning. And anywhere that you are, any school, the Facilities Departments are very much a part of student learning. All right, very quickly, I'm going to go over, I probably don't have enough time to go over every single project, every little and big project that we're doing this summer. But know that improving our district is a constant turning wheel. The wheel doesn't stop. We're always looking for ways to either push our district into the future or make what we have better. And again, it is all to promote student learning. The first project I'll talk about, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, is our newly proposed and approved playground. Research shows that students who get a chance to get out and release some of that energy that they work up all day inside the classroom, they learn better when they come back. They're settled, and actually, some students, they don't get a chance to play on things like the new apparatus that we're proposing to put in. They want to come to school. Anything that gets them to school, they think if they love playing on the playground, that's the reason to come to school. So what we decided to do is to add a new playground. Now, the new playground, is going to promote climbing, sliding, balancing, hanging, and social interaction, which is a part of SEL. So as you can see there, we have sliding on this side, we have sliding on the opposite side. It's just a fun experience. I'm going to test it out before the kids get out there. I'm probably going to go out there and hang a few times, slide down the slide. So if you see a big kid sliding down the slide, boy, it's just me. Just making sure everything's safe. But again, this is very exciting for us. When the kids, I can't wait to see the kids' faces when they come back for the next school year and they see the new playground out there. Incorporated with the playground is going to be rubber safety surfacing. That is the new trend in playgrounds. So when you see most playgrounds, they have the rubber safety surfacing. When most of us were growing up, it was concrete. When you reached the bottom of the slide board, there was nothing soft to greet you. It was the concrete or asphalt. So now the new trend is to keep our students safe. No more strawberries on your knees and on your elbows, or you have something soft to land on. So that is a part of the project. Also not shown here, also a part of the project, we're going to be repaving the whole asphalted area surrounding Borough School. So anything that's asphalt on the west side of the building, north side, inside the playground area is all going to be repaved. So it'll be nice, fresh asphalt, fresh new look for a fresh new playground. And along with that project, we're also proposing to add staff parking. Anybody who's been in the district knows that staff parking it's been a strain, even ever since I've been here. And we're taking steps, adding the bus lane, adding additional parking here in the playground area is going to help relieve some of the parking strain around Borough Academy. Moving on, you'll see at the bottom left, you'll see science labs. So another project that's going on here this summer, we're going to be repurposing 2 classrooms here at Calumet Middle School, not too far from where you're sitting tonight. And we're going to be turning regular gen ed classrooms into science purpose classrooms. And that is going to involve adding sinks, adding casework. Casework is just the cabinets, the wood cabinets, lockable cabinets. And they're also going to be, not really shown here, they're going to be writable. So just like a dry erase board, you'll be able to write on the cabinet, so you'll be able to label what's in the cabinets and change things. You don't have to put tape on the walls and do that. You just label them with marker. So that'll be great. One of the main purposes for repurposing these classrooms is to provide our 6th and 7th grade students with the opportunity to receive a full, in-depth science curriculum, having that curriculum taught to them. Science is a subject that the state tests our students on. So facilities geared towards science learning will promote familiarity and mastery of the science curriculum that we're teaching. In turn, producing science test scores that meet or exceed state standards. So again, providing the facilities will promote learning, which produces better test scores. Moving on, bottom right, you see this nice greenhouse. We are going to be adding a greenhouse to that's also a part of the playground renovation at Borough Elementary School. So there's a lot happening in that area back there. It's gonna look like a whole state-of-the-art facility back there when students come back in August. So the greenhouse is probably gonna be one of the only facilities like this in a middle school set or an elementary school setting in this area. I've not seen one. I've been south probably pretty much my whole life, and I've not seen an elementary school with a large greenhouse facility in order to provide for their students. So coming along with this greenhouse, this will give our students the opportunity to indulge in horticulture, introduction to biological sciences, and STEM. Ultimately, our goal is to have on families' tables food that students have grown, cultivated, and harvested on their tables, and they're eating it for dinner and lunch and breakfast. And the students can probably say, hey, today we're eating the cucumbers or the tomatoes or whatever it is that they're being grown. I grew this and we're going to be consuming it for dinner tonight. That would be a proud student moment. All right, and you never know, we may have some green thumbs or some people who may want to open up businesses in Calumet Park just by sparking the interest with this greenhouse. So this will be an awesome opportunity for our students. And finally, at the top left, you'll see a picture of our newly proposed or newly approved Calumet Gymnasium Building addition. So inside of this is something that we're very, very excited about, and something that our students are very, very excited about as well. This new gymnasium addition is not only going to provide athletic opportunities, but this entire building is going to be geared toward being flexible and being suited to whatever we need. Flexible spaces, that's the new trend now. Being able to use a space for different things. So inside of this building, of course, we're going to have a full high school size athletic court. We'll have classrooms suited to what we need to, any subject that we need for it to be geared to, particularly STEM, could be a possibility that we put in one of those classrooms. We'll also have a flexible multi-purpose room space that can be used for anything that actually opens up into the gym, so we can use that for different purposes. And also, this is something that the community will have use to. This facility can be used we plan to have the community be able to use this facility. As the community did have a input on what they wanted to see inside of this community, inside of this building. We conducted community surveys, student surveys. The student surveys were crazy. They wanted to see rock climbing walls and parachuting off. But again, we have the possibility in this building because it's going to be flexible. So you never know what you might see in the years to come. Those are the four major projects that we have going on this summer. I'll be working this summer, so you'll see me here, there, and everywhere, making sure these projects turn out right. So again, I thank you for this opportunity to give you an update on what's happening in the Buildings and Grounds Department. Thank you.
So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Bates from Academic Services, Ms. Hutchinson from Operational Services, and Mr. Corley, our Director of Business and Buildings and Grounds, for outstanding presentation on their departments. Let's give them a round of applause. So at this time now, we handed out some note cards to the participants. And if you would like to ask a question, we'll take some of those questions. Please, on your note card, make sure your name and your email is there so that we can provide you feedback and contact just in case we're not able to answer your question tonight.
When will the gymnasium, the addition, be complete?
So the tentative plan right now is to begin groundbreaking in September of 2023. And the goal is to have the gymnasium completed by the school year for August 24. So next school year, our students are expected to walk into the gym. Ms. Carr, you have a question?
Yes, my question is, I know that Mr. Corley, I give him this house, a pillar of the community, I must say, family, glad to have you in this community. The STEM lab, he kind of threw STEM to me in a little bit, but from my perspective, I could be wrong, the STEM lab has no pens, no pencils, no erasers, no notebook paper. It's all done through technology, some type of electronic device. I've seen them in Harvey, they have two. The superintendent allowed me to come and have a day with the students and the instructor or teacher. And it seemed like it's so hard for this district to get to that point where our students have technology. What they're working on is something technical, not written, not water, not God's Son, which is all good, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that we haven't had a STEM lab. The last administration threw that term around a lot, even for science fair. I just don't see STEM in any of the things that's being projected. A STEM lab.
So STEM within itself is a very robust concept. So just by phonetics, you have science, which looks at the biological, the chemical, and the natural environment. Technology, which is electrical mostly. But here's the real word. Technology, if you break it down, means innovation. Technology means something new, something different. So it doesn't necessarily have to be electrical. Engineering, the E concept. Engineering means to build. And a lot of times when you talk about building, let's say you build a building, this is STEM, building a building. In order to make bricks stick together, you have to mix water with dirt or water with rock. So STEM is all inclusive. STEM is math. You have to calculate and figure out what are your trajectories? What are your start points and end points? So STEM is a very robust concept that does not just look at what can you plug in and what's electric. STEM is more of a way of thinking. It's a process and a design. So our district, we are moving in that direction. Currently at Burr Oak Elementary School, we have a STEM lab. And in this STEM lab, our students are building things. They're building Legos. They're designing robots. They're also making structures. So if you think about the Pueblo Indians, they didn't have bricks. They didn't have all of these machines. So they had to build their homes out of mud and water. That's what STEM is. So our goal is to prepare students for college and subsequent life, not just what you can plug in. We're building this greenhouse, and as Mr. Corley talked about, how do we create an urban farming environment right here in Calumet Park? A lot of that deals with the sun. A lot of that deals with the water. A lot of that deals with the life cycle. So we are moving in the direction of STEM. In our new gym facility, we will have a STEM lab, but here's the reality. It's flexible. What do we want that STEM lab to look like? Do we want that STEM lab to be based on how do we take animal cultures and grow them? How do we create plants? Maybe we take two different cells and mix them together and create our own species. Yes, there will be some engineering design, whereas you have robotics, coding, things of that nature. But our focus as a district is to provide access to our students across the board and not just in a narrow fashion.
Well, to me, STEM is not a narrow fashion. STEM can include all those things that you said.
Mm-hmm.
But when our students for the 21st century, as your staff has spoke about, they will be competing for jobs from people from all around the world. And it is going to be a plug up. It is innovation. What can you do creative to make Google much more robust, more faster, whatever? Because this is the kind of society we're living in. Technology is taking away jobs. You can go to the grocery store now, you have to bag your own stuff. You have to bag your own things now. It's a lot of things that technology is taking over. And some schools and some districts, they have the 4th and 5th graders writing code, learning what it is to compete globally, not locally, but globally. Okay, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about STEM. I'm not talking about just plugging in no device. I'm talking about critical thinking, thinking outside the box, like caller ID. That was someone that did that in a lab. I worked for AT&T for over 22 years. We did things in a lab, and the company rewarded you at the end of the year if you thought of something no one else did. That's what I'm talking about. It's critical thinking. STEM is not just about growing and sun and all this, everything that you said. But the most important aspect of it to me is that I can't see you, you can't see me. I'm in front of a keyboard, but what I'm doing is going to supersede what you're doing. Because when you call for support, you get somebody out of the country. I always ask, what state are you in? They're not even in the country. But yet they have the jobs. And our students, our people, our children, my community, to me, the students aren't getting what they need when it comes to sitting down and being creative. Just creative. That's what I'm talking about with STEM.
Thank you, Ms. Carson. We'll definitely take that into consideration.
I'm sorry, I'm just so passionate about it.
Are there any other questions? So at this time, I would like to recognize we have two board members here, Ms. Patricia Carr and Mr. Swayla Brown in the back. Truly appreciate your presence and your support tonight. On behalf of all of us here at District 132, the administration, the board and staff, We want to thank you for being a part of our 2023 State of the District Address. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Job well done. Job well done.